Welcome to Data Science Using Python. This video we're going to be concerned with merging data sets or data frames together. So if you have two data frames, we're going to merge them together. All right, so let's get started. We're still using pandas as before, so we're going to import pandas as PD just like we did before. This time we have the same data set, but we have one more that we wish to merge into this. So I'm going to call this ImpDF, and it's going to be, I'm going to use pandas to read an Excel file, and that file is named, what is it, ImpDemograph, not daemon graph, I think it's XLSX, and let's see if this works. So this should read in our new data set. I'm going to run all of this actually. I've cleared out the workspace and I want to see if everything works together. Okay, and so both of them come in. Let's look at both of them, even though we've already seen this one before. Has subject, treatment, gender, age, p-test, imp1, imp2, imp3. These are impulsivity measurements. And p-test is whether or not they scored positive on a drug test. And then we have ImpDF. Here this has subject number just like the other one, but it has their education level, how much alcohol they use, whether or not they use any nicotine products, and what their living situation is. So housing, whether they own, rent, whatever. So what we want to do, instead of having to deal with two data frames all the time, we can just lump them all into one data frame. And this is actually pretty easy. So let's see here. We're going to merge the two data sets together, or data frames together. So let's see here. I'm going to call it imp1 tot, because it's going to be the total of everything together. So I'm going to do pd merge. I'm going to put in my two data sets, imp1, if I could spell it, imp1d. Come on, fingers. You can do it. Hey, df. imp1df, and then this is the variable that is going to join them together. So what do we want to join them on? What do we want to make sure is the same rows match up? Well, if you notice in both of these, I have subject. Subject is the identifier. I want to make sure that whatever this subject has in these rows, it matches whatever's in these rows because they're the same subject. And a lot of people just try to concatenate things, but that's a bit dangerous because you're assuming that it's sorted in the way you want it to be sorted in. And right now we haven't learned how to sort any data sets. Right now we're just learning how to get basic data in, basic processing of it. We'll learn how to sort it later. But right now, if we use the merge, it's going to make sure that they match on subject. And I have to make sure that they both have the same name here. All right, so this is what they're going to merge on. It's going to be subject. And close the parenthesis, and we will see what happens here. Okay, so if I take this, run it, it popped up a new data frame. It has 14, which is 10 plus 5 minus 1. Minus 1 is because it's only going to have one column for subject. It's not going to have two, so there's no point in duplicating it. So here you can see index, subject, education, alcohol, nicotine, housing, then whether or not which treatment they got, then the gender, then all of the other measurements. They're all matched up and they match perfectly, and I didn't have to sort the data. I had to merge on a common variable, which in this case is subject. So hopefully this has been pretty easy for you to understand on how to do this. It really is not that difficult. Which two data sets you want to merge together, and then what variable in those do you want them to match up on. So this is what they match up on. And other than that, that's pretty much it to merging data sets together. In the next data set, we'll play around with some sorting, and then after that we'll go on to actually doing some nice plots and learning how to make a variety of nice plots. But right now we just have to learn how to process some data so that we can make our managing our data much easier. All right, so I will see you in the next video.